You did not appear on this earth as an accident of biology or a result of random timing. Your breath, your body, your entrance were scheduled in eternity before time ever began. Heaven marked the exact month, the exact season, the exact atmosphere into which your soul would descend, and nothing about it was casual. Known unto God are all his works from the beginning of the world, Acts 15:18. You are one of those works. Even the month of your birth was written like a line in a divine blueprint. There are fingerprints of purpose pressed into your existence, and heaven hid pieces of your identity inside the calendar itself. Those who are chosen are never born into meaningless moments. To everything there is a season and a time for every purpose under heaven. Ecclesiastes 3:1. Your season of arrival is not decoration, it is revelation. Your birth month is a spiritual cipher. It carries codes about your temperament, your gifting, your authority, your warfare, and your assignment. It explains why you feel deeply, why you see differently, why you never blended in with the crowd, and why even as a child, something in you knew you were not ordinary. When the Lord spoke to Jeremiah and said, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I consecrated you." Jeremiah 1:5. He was speaking a principle that also applies to you. Consecration precedes conception. You are not becoming chosen. You were born chosen. The moment you arrived was already an act of appointment. The heavens do not waste time or timing. Nature may call it a month, but in the spirit, it is a marker, a signature, a seal. The moment you begin to decode what was implanted in the month of your arrival, identity becomes clearer, confusion begins to fall away, and comparison loses its grip. You stop asking, "Why am I like this?" and you begin to see that what felt like difference was actually design. In this video, you are not here to be entertained. You are here to remember. You will discover what your birth month reveals about your divine mission on this earth. If your spirit is ready, open your heart and type Amen to agree with what heaven has written. And let's move from revelation. January is not merely the opening of a calendar. It is the prophetic symbol of God's "let there be." Those born under this month carry the blueprint of initiation within their bones. They arrive in seasons when something must begin, when something must shift, when a door that has been sealed must finally open. They are the souls sent to step first. When others hesitate at the edge of the unknown, January-born spirits feel an inner push to advance, to set things in motion without waiting for applause or permission. They are wired to pioneer. While the world calls it risk, heaven calls it obedience. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid, for the Lord your God goes with you. Deuteronomy 31:6. This courage to begin again, even after loss, rejection, or delay, is not personality, it is assignment. Their leadership is not the loud kind that demands attention, but the kind that ignites conviction simply by walking in truth. People around them move when they move. Rooms shift when they enter. Their presence is a signal that stagnation is ending and a new chapter is permitted to unfold. Just as in the beginning, God did not wait for conditions to change before he created light. He spoke light into the darkness, Genesis 1:3. January souls are anointed to act before clarity is visible. They are the first to rebuild after collapse, the first to dream after disappointment, the first to break family cycles and name patterns that nobody before them had the courage to confront. This is why their path has often felt heavier than others. Pioneers always carry what future generations will walk lightly upon. Behold, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it? Isaiah 43:19. January-born ones are that new thing. They are the flesh and blood evidence that heaven still interrupts history with beginnings. Even when they don't fully understand why they cannot remain still, why silence feels wrong, why comfort suffocates them, it is because their spirit was consecrated to start the things that others will continue. They are breakers of inertia, carriers of first light, and God has already equipped them to lead even when the map is hidden and the terrain is unfamiliar. From beginnings to the balm of peace, the mantle shifts to February. February is the month of quiet intercessors, the peacemakers, the soul healers, the unseen restorers. Though it is the shortest stretch of days, it holds an unusual depth in the spirit. Those born in this month do not enter life with armor. They enter with an uncovered heart, a heart that feels what others hide and hears what others silence. Their sensitivity is not emotional fragility, but spiritual instrumentation. They register pain like a radar, not to be crushed by it, but to relieve it. Jesus said, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called children of God." Matthew 5:9. This is the mantle of February-born souls, to create peace not by force, but by presence. In places where conflict has become normal, they quietly de-escalate. In atmospheres heavy with tension, they exhale calm. Many do not even realize that their existence softens rooms, repairs misunderstandings, and brings estranged hearts back to the table. Their compassion is medicinal. From birth, they are consecrated to gentleness, mirroring Christ, who will not break a bruised reed and will not extinguish a smoldering wick. Isaiah 42:3. They carry that same gentleness that preserves souls on the brink. While others debate, they embrace. While others judge, they intercede. While others speak loudly, they listen deeply. God assigns them to environments where souls are fractured because their very presence becomes a bridge between grief and comfort, despair and reassurance, noise and inner stillness. They are not required to change systems or nations. Heaven only asks that they continue releasing peace into whichever space their feet touch. Their ministry is silent but seismic. The world often misreads their tenderness as weakness, but heaven recognizes it as warfare of another kind. Peace is a weapon against chaos. Pursue peace with all people. Hebrews 12:14 is not a verse they memorize. It is a life they embody. Healing for them is not a task. It's the air they carry. Their eyes soothe more than some sermons, and their hugs preach more than some pulpits. They are living sanctuaries, homes for the hurting, shelters for the overwhelmed, and reminders that softness is sacred. Those born in February are divine custodians of inner order. They repair what anger fractures. They reconcile what pride divorces. They quiet what fear amplifies. Their light does not shout, it steadies. And everywhere they go, something broken begins to mend. In this message, we begin with select months. March and April will be unveiled in the next release. May births anchor the earth in seasons when everything else trembles. Those born in this month carry a spiritual gravity, a quiet solidity that steadies what is collapsing around them. They do not panic at the sight of difficulty. Instead, their soul stands like a rooted tree whose roots reach deeper the harder the winds blow. He shall be like a tree planted by streams of water. It does not wither. Psalm 1:3. This is the architecture of a May spirit, unshaken, not because life is easy, but because faith has become their spine. Their courage is not theatrical. They do not fight with noise, but with stance. Like Daniel, who opened his windows to pray even under threat. Daniel 6:10. Mayborn souls confess their faith not by speech, but by consistency, by doing what is right when fear is loud and crowds are silent. Their conviction stabilizes environments. They fortify homes, teams, families, and friendships simply by remaining present when others withdraw. Their hearts are tuned to reconciliation and balance. They have a way of softening tension without erasing truth. Their counsel does not control, it clarifies. Their comfort does not weaken, it repairs. Bear one another's burdens and so fulfill the law of Christ. Galatians 6:2. May souls do this instinctively. They lean in when others step back. Even when they themselves are weary, they reach out, not because they have no battles, but because love overrides exhaustion. They are refuges in human form. When storms rise, people intuitively move toward them the way sailors seek harbor. They are keepers of faith in households drowning in doubt. They plant hope in ruins and speak life back into people who had already planned to quit. Where others see endings, they plant beginnings. Where others scatter, they uphold. Their assignment is not to avoid pressure, but to withstand it for the sake of others. They are spiritual shock absorbers, built to absorb panic so others can breathe again. Their endurance is not mere personality, it is mantle. Be steadfast, immovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord. 1 Corinthians 15:58. This is their script. They hold the line when everything else retreats. Those born in May are builders of hope, guardians of order, keepers of faith. They do not just survive storms, they preserve others through them. Their life is not loud, but it is unshakably necessary, and wherever they remain standing, the world around them learns. June births are the blueprint carriers, the quiet architects of what endures. Those born in this month do not rush blindly into movement. They think, they weigh, they measure, they design. Their spirits are not impulsive, but intentional. They build the way an oak tree grows, slow, deliberate, unstoppable. This is not detachment, it is wisdom formed in the marrow. By wisdom a house is built, and by understanding it is established. Proverbs 24:3. June-born souls carry this wisdom as instinct. They were not created to chase temporary sparks, but to erect things that last. Marriages that do not collapse after storms, dreams that outlive discouragement, missions that outlast time and resistance. While others applaud surface beauty, they are absorbed by structure. They study what lies beneath, the integrity, the root system, the unseen supports. That is why people unconsciously relax around them. Foundations inspire trust. Their discernment is subtle but sharp. They see weaknesses before they break. They strengthen gaps before others notice them. They build with truth, with honesty, with calm conviction. Jesus spoke of the wise man who dug deep and laid the foundation on rock. Luke 6:48. That is the spirit of June. Depth over speed, substance over shine, endurance over applause. They do not persuade with noise, they prove with consistency. Their life does not demand belief, it demonstrates reliability until doubt becomes impossible. They are deliverers of structure in a world addicted to improvisation. They are spiritual engineers, erecting order where chaos once ruled, and organizing lives into alignment without force. They do not control, they stabilize. God entrusts builders with responsibility others cannot carry. June souls are given blueprints for people, for callings, for generations. They are sent not to decorate, but to anchor. The plans of the diligent lead surely to abundance. Proverbs 21:5. Their diligence is not performance. It is obedience to a heavenly pattern. Even when they feel unseen, their work is never wasted. Builders are often ignored until the day others need what they built. Many will stand, heal, and succeed because of structures June-born spirits erected quietly long before the need arose. Their mission is not glamorous. It is foundational, and everything that will stand tomorrow depends on what they are faithfully shaping today. Keep building. Heaven writes history through the hands of July births carry the mantle of seekers, souls who are not satisfied with shadows when their spirit was made to pursue the source of light. They are drawn to what is essential, not decorative. They do not swallow beliefs because they were handed down. They wrestle, examine, and search until truth becomes revelation. This is not rebellion, it is reverence. Ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you will find. Matthew 7:7. July souls live inside that verse. Their questions are not arguments, but doors. They do not accept answers that do not ring true in the spirit. They want to know what is underneath, the motive, the meaning, the eternal layer hidden beneath the visible. Their curiosity is holy. It is the kind of pursuit that sharpens faith instead of weakening it. When others fear questions, July-born ones lean into them, not to destroy belief, but to refine it. Their mind is a lantern for those walking through mental or spiritual fog. Because of this, people around them begin to breathe differently. They feel safe to think, to doubt, to reconsider, to learn. Test all things. Hold fast to what is good. 1 Thessalonians 5:21. That is the rhythm of a July spirit. They teach others, often silently, that God is not threatened by the human need to understand. Their authenticity gives permission for honest faith instead of inherited faith. Yes, they have been misread as intense, distant, or too deep, but their depth is their ministry. Surface-level living suffocates them because they were born to dive beneath it and return with truth that liberates others. They do not preach by pressure, they guide by clarity. Their transparency heals more than some sermons. Their insight frees minds long held by fear or passivity. Their sensitivity allows them to see paths others step over. They are not simply thinkers, they are awakeners. They do not force belief, they invite encounter. They do not give answers, they provoke discovery. Their life calls others to examine, to feel, to seek, to return to the voice inside their soul. They are guides not because they know everything, but because they refuse to stop asking until something real is found. Their mission is sacred, to lead people out of shallow certainty into living truth. Truth that transforms, not merely informs. August births are sacred seekers, souls who cannot breathe in a life stripped of meaning. They walk through the world with an invisible pull toward what is holy, refusing to live as if existence is only flesh and circumstance. Their spirit is magnetized to the eternal. Even when their bodies are engaged with earthly tasks, something in them is always reaching upward, stretching toward the realm that eyes cannot see. Set your mind on things above, not on things on the earth. Colossians 3:2. August souls live in obedience to this inward command without even needing to hear it spoken. They were not made to be entertained by the trivial. Their hunger is for what is real, weighty, and lasting. They are living reminders that the invisible is not imaginary, it is foundational. Like Moses, who came down from Sinai with a face still radiant from encounter, Exodus 34:29, August-born carry evidence of the divine in their very demeanor. They do not preach by volume, but by vibration. Their presence itself shifts awareness. They stand as bridges between dimensions, translating the unseen into something felt, perceived, undeniable. They possess a gaze that pierces illusion. Where others cling to appearances, they penetrate to essence. They recognize when something is spiritually alive or hollow. While the world chases noise and novelty, they cling to what has weight and truth. This discernment is not a personality trait, it is assignment. They cannot numb themselves with distraction because they were designed to awaken others. Autopilot living suffocates them because they were born to call people back to consciousness. Their influence is quiet but radical. Sometimes an August born does not need to speak for transformation to begin. Their mere existence confronts complacency. They awaken thirst in those who have forgotten they are souls. They do with presence what others try to do with pressure. They stir remembrance. Awake, O sleeper, and rise from the dead, and Christ will shine on you. Ephesians 5:14. They are human alarms for the spirit. The world desperately needs those who lift the human gaze away from dust and back toward destiny. That is your role, to live in a way that proves God is not theory, but reality, that the soul cannot be fed by noise, and that only the sacred satisfies. Your mission is not to argue heaven, but to embody it. You are here to raise perspectives, to make people look up again. From the heights, September births carry the mantle of divine order. These souls arrive with an internal compass that instinctively detects what is out of alignment in people, in plans, in atmospheres, and even in the unseen places of the heart. Where others only feel something is wrong, they know what must be corrected. They do not simply crave structure, they create it. Let all things be done decently and in order. 1 Corinthians 14:40. September-born spirits are living embodiments of that decree. They are the ones who turn confusion into clarity, clutter into coherence, disorder into direction. They bring calm not by withdrawing from chaos, but by taming it. Their discernment is sharp, but their execution is gentle. They restore without humiliating, refine without erasing, correct without crushing. Like Nehemiah rebuilding Jerusalem's broken walls, Nehemiah 2:17-18, they are called to rebuild what life has fractured, one stone, one system, one soul at a time. People trust them not because they speak loudly, but because their actions are steady and their integrity is predictable. Their leadership is subtle yet decisive. They can translate spiritual truth into practical steps, making them bridges between the invisible and the visible. They know how to take revelation and turn it into structure, how to take conviction and turn it into strategy. This rare union of spirit and logic makes them indispensable in God's work on earth. They feel imbalanced the way a harpist hears a single string out of tune. They cannot stand to see disorder suffocate potential. And unlike many who only notice problems, they also carry the skill to restore harmony with patience, dignity, and love. Blessed are the peacemakers does not only mean stopping conflict. Sometimes it means reorganizing lives so peace has room to live. Their calling is not small, it is preparational. They lay foundations for what others will later build upon. They till the soil before the seed arrives. They set the table before the feast. Great works are never born from disorder, and heaven trusts September-born souls to prepare the ground for what is coming. You are not just organized, you are ordained. You are not simply structured, you are strategic. You are a restorer of souls, a stabilizer of environments, and a carrier of holy order in a world collapsing under chaos. Keep arranging, keep aligning, keep correcting gently. Heaven works through your order. Order prepares the October is the month when creation teaches rebirth, and so do the souls born within it. As leaves release what no longer serves them and the atmosphere shifts without resistance, October-born spirits carry the same sacred assignment to demonstrate that letting go is not loss, but preparation for renewal. They are living transitions, bridges between what was and what is becoming. Behold, I am making all things new. Revelation 21:5. This verse is etched into their nature. They have been entrusted with the gift of transformation. When they enter a space, stagnation begins to soften. People who felt stuck suddenly consider change. Those chained to old identities begin to imagine another life. Renewal follows them not because they persuade aggressively, but because they embody possibility. Their presence whispers to the weary, "You are allowed to begin again." They carry a tenderness for those in process. Unlike the impatient, they understand that souls unfold in stages. They help people lay down invisible weights, regrets, guilt, former versions of themselves, without shaming them for once carrying those loads. Cast off the old self and be renewed in the spirit of your mind. Ephesians 4:22-23. October-born ones midwife this renewal gently. Their words heal, their silence stabilizes, their discernment knows when to nudge and when to simply stay near. Their own lives are testimonies of evolution. They have shed skins others try to keep them trapped inside. They have walked away from cycles that were expected to repeat. They have lost much and still chosen forward. This is why people trust them. They speak from rebirth, not theory. Like a tree surrendering leaves in confidence that spring will come, they relinquish what God asks them to release, even when it hurts, because they believe in what is ahead. They are not here to maintain what is dying. They are here to midwife what is being born. They carry the courage to step out of the old and the grace to shepherd others into the new. Their mission is not merely to change themselves, but to awaken rebirth wherever there is resignation. October souls remind the world that transformation is not instability. It is obedience to the God who never stops making life new. Renewal requires discernment. Enter November with night vision. November births carry an inner sight that does not depend on the natural eye. They move through life with an antenna in the spirit, perceiving what mouths never speak, feeling what hearts conceal, and sensing what others overlook. Their awareness is not accidental, it is assignment. For the Lord does not look at the things people look at. The Lord looks at the heart. 1 Samuel 16:7. November-born souls share a fragment of that divine lens. They see past appearance into essence. Their sensitivity is not fragility. It is a form of spiritual night vision. They detect deception before it is exposed. They recognize sincerity before it is confirmed. They sense danger without evidence and discern truth before it manifests. This makes them guardians in places where others are blind. The world often misunderstands their quietness as distance, but silence is their instrument of observation. They speak when insight is complete, not when pressure demands noise. Their presence brings clarity to environments clouded by confusion or pretense. They read atmospheres the way others read text. They can feel when a soul is breaking even behind a smile. This gift is not only for awareness, it is for protection and redirection. The prudent see danger and take refuge. Proverbs 22:3. November-born spirits help others take refuge before collapse comes. Their discernment is a shelter for the unwarned. They are called to reveal what God wants brought into light and to guard what God intends to remain hidden. They carry both lamp and shield. They awaken sleepers by naming what has been silently draining them. They protect the tender by shielding truths that are not yet ready to be seen. Their words do not impress, they liberate. Their insight does not condemn, it redirects. Often God speaks to them in impressions instead of thunder, in knowing instead of evidence. What they receive is rarely for curiosity, it is for healing, prevention, and destiny. They are spiritual compasses, not controlling decisions, but aligning directions. The world needs such souls now more than ever. People who see with the eyes of the Spirit when the world is content with illusions. Keep trusting what you sense. Heaven did not give you this sight to burden you, but to guide, to guard, and to awaken those still living in the dark. And where shadows linger, December carries light that does not yield. December births carry the imprint of divine light, breaking into a world of shadows. The month itself is a living parable, darkness at its longest, yet pierced by the arrival of hope. When Christ entered a silent and waiting earth, the atmosphere of history shifted. Likewise, those born in December are walking reminders that God still interrupts despair with promise. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. John 1:5. That is the nature of your soul. You carry warmth in cold seasons, not by effort, but by essence. Your words calm storms that logic cannot. Your presence comforts people long before you speak. There is something steady, assuring, and quietly radiant about you. Where others see endings, you instinctively sense what God is preparing to begin. You do not deny darkness, you stand in it without being swallowed by it, and that gives others strength to endure. Your mission is not dramatic, it is deeply human and profoundly spiritual. To restore confidence in God's faithfulness, to rekindle trust in promises people have stopped believing, and to remind weary hearts that heaven has not withdrawn. Hope does not disappoint. Romans 5:5, and your life proves it. You live what others only recite, that God still answers, still rescues, still rewrites stories. Like the Messiah who was hidden for years before being revealed, you often observe and discern long before you move. But when you act, you shift outcomes. Your decisions carry weight because they are made from a place of wisdom and inner peace. You do not just carry light, you awaken it in others. People stand taller beside you, dream again around you, and trust more deeply because your faith makes belief feel possible again. You are not here to blend into gloom, but to contradict it by existing. The hope you embody is not a saying, it is a lived declaration. Your life is proof that one soul illuminated by God can change the atmosphere of an entire room. Keep shining, even when the air is thick and days feel dim. You were born in a month that teaches the earth. You did not arrive by coincidence. Long before anyone celebrated your birthday on earth, it was already recorded in heaven's timeline. Your entrance was scheduled, not spontaneous. Even the month you were born into is not random. It is a prophetic marker, a spiritual signature stamped onto your destiny. Your eyes saw my unformed substance. In your book were written, every one of them, the days that were formed for me, when as yet there was none of them. Psalm 139, verse 16. You are not an accident inside God's architecture. Every month carries a divine frequency, a distinct anointing, a purpose woven into time itself. And when you understand the spiritual code of your birth month, Suddenly your life begins to make sense. The strengths you carry, the battles you face, the wounds you endured, the assignments you cannot escape. They are all connected to a mission heaven assigned to you before your first breath. Some months, birth leaders, some healers, some builders, some restorers, some truth revealers, some carriers of light. None of them are ordinary. Each birth month is not a limitation. It is a revelation. It shows what heaven deposited in you before the world ever named you. You carry a blueprint already loaded into your spirit. Even if you do not fully understand it yet, your soul already remembers. God has not sent you to earth empty-handed. The resources, gifts, endurance, intuition, compassion, and faith you will need for your assignment are already inside you, waiting for activation. He who began a good work in you will carry it to completion. Philippians 1:6. Heaven is not improvising with your life. It is unfolding what has already been written. Now that you understand that even your birth month testifies of calling, you can walk differently. You can pray with precision. You can serve with intention. You can endure with clarity. The called do not wander. They align. They know they are here on divine business. This revelation is not meant to restrict you. It is meant to awaken you, to remind you that your origin is God, not circumstance, and that He wastes neither days nor lives. Every detail, including the month you entered time, carries meaning. You may not see the full picture today, but you can start living with new awareness. Observe your life with spiritual eyes, move with faith, respond with purpose. Because heaven has not forgotten you. Heaven has called you by name and by date. If this word resonated with you, comment your birth month below. Share this message with someone who needs to remember they were written into existence, and subscribe for more revelations that awaken the reason you were born. Heaven already recognizes you. Now it is your turn to answer.